How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. Hey, it's Fun Friday here on the show, everybody. Fun Friday. We got a lot to talk about here today. Although, honestly, if we're being serious, not all of it's fun, because WWE office cuts have begun. No talent cuts yet, but the WWE office cuts have begun. So we'll get into that here today. And, of course, Smackdown is tonight. And, you know, sometimes we talk about how, man, there's a Dynamite coming up. They haven't announced anything. Well, welcome to Smackdown. 2 things announced, and only one of them is a match. So we'll give you what we know about SmackDown. You think you'd have more things announced for a show that's 3 hours long, but they don't. But we also have news on the end, by the grace of God, the end of 3-hour SmackDowns. It's coming soon. So we'll talk about that. We got a Collision this weekend, which also has virtually nothing announced while we're on the subject, and a Raw that has virtually nothing announced. Sometimes when it rains, it pours. We got the Dynamite NXT ratings. We have got some information on Crown Jewel, which will not be in Saudi Arabia. They have a non-Saudi Arabia Crown Jewel coming, and plenty more. If you want to text us, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com. F4W Online, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. And that's right, $10 Cameo's still on. Got a big weekend coming, Cinco de Mayo. I know you can come up with something. $10 Cameos, F4W Online, Bryan Alvarez on Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez on X, at Bryan Alvarez Blue Sky. A lot of places to find us. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Well, what's the chat talking about here on Fun Friday? Well, first they're talking about, I'm not going to get into the argument, but sometimes I feel like no matter what you say, someone is going to argue it. Okay?
Of course.
Listen, you can announce more than two things for a show. You can still have surprises on the show. You can still have segments that people don't expect. Show's 3 hours long, dude. You can announce more than two things. Exactly the same with Collision, and Dynamite, and Raw. Most of the time, WWE has 5-6 things announced. They still have surprises. So let's do it. Now, people also talking about Mercedes Moné's new $99 text message service. You see this one?
No, what is this?
Yes. For $99 a month, you can be a Mercedes Moné text buddy. She'll text you. You guys can chat here and there. And I've seen people up in arms about this or whatever. But why?
Really?
If she advertises a $99 text service and you have $99 a month that you have nothing to do with, and you want to give it to her and text back and forth with her, what's the problem? Everyone is allowed to spend their money how they want to spend their money. That's it. I don't understand why anybody would be up in arms about this. I do cameos. I plug them every day. It's $10 a cameo. And you pay me $10, I'm going to provide you an excellent, if I do say so myself, cameo. I get 5-star reviews all the time. I get nice messages. Everybody's happy with what they got for their $10. What's the problem? There isn't a problem.
People are jealous.
Now, if she charges you $99 a month and you text her and you never get anything back and she never texts you, then obviously there is a problem. But other than that...
And that is for the Better Business Service to go and take care of. Why would anybody be upset over somebody starting a hustle that doesn't hurt anybody? It's $99. If you got it, I'll text you. So what?
Yeah,
if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
You know, we're old, okay? We're old.
We are.
Okay, do you remember, like, when we were a kid, what people would say all the time? Mind your own business.
Uh-huh.
Does anyone say that anymore? No, they don't.
No, unfortunately
Nobody
not.
minds their own business. Everybody has to mind everyone else's business. Mm-hmm. If you see that she is charging $99 for a text message service and you think it's dumb and you think I would never do that, just don't do it and move on with your life. Let other people spend their money the way they want to spend their money. Because you know what? No matter how frugal you think you are, everybody listening to this right now, they spend their money on something that someone else thinks is stupid.
You got to have something.
You can spend your money on whatever you would like.
I wonder if her number is going to be as iconic as 281-330-8004.
Well, what I know is she's probably not going to make a lot of money on this because no, she's a big star, and there will be some people that will do this. But I very quickly figured out last month on my cameo hustle, if you want to call it that. Mm-hmm. I did WrestleMania month. I dropped the cameos to $10. I think they used to be $25, and like I did fine at $25. You know, I made a decent little amount of money every month. Brother, I dropped those to $10. I made double, actually more than that. I think I made triple what I used to make when they were... Now, granted, I had to do like $100 or 100 of them every month or 150 or whatever I did. I did a lot, okay? It wasn't like I didn't do anything for the money. I did a lot more. But the point is, like, hey, $10 cameos, lots and lots of people will buy those. 25, people will buy them, but certainly not at the numbers they did at 10. If I charge $100 for cameos, I get a cameo or two every month. You know, there's people that are big fans. But that's it. So $99 is a little steep, I would say. But hey, if you want to pay it, pay it.
Everything's relative.
If she wants to charge $1,000, do it.
Yeah, look, it depends on how much the line is to get sent, to get set up, whatever that is. I mean, if you only get 10 people a month to do it, it's $990 minus, let's say $150 for the phone and somebody to actually punch out the messages for you. I mean, so I can actually see this being big for at least a short period of time. Now,
this guy goes, OnlyFans is less it's not exploitive. You don't have to pay. If someone else wants to, mind your own business.
Who was the thick blonde girl from NXT that my brain is now cannot remember?
I certainly would never answer that question.
That went to Cameo, or not Cameo, but went to OnlyFans that is making a boatload of money. Help me out here.
You mean the lean, muscular lady?
Yes.
That would be Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose. I mean, is anybody forcing anyone to subscribe to Mandy Rose's OnlyFans? I mean, should she not have done that? I mean, who cares?
She's doing
who
all
cares?
right. I hear. Doing all right. All righty. Well, hey, I have cameos at 4W Online. They're $10, Bro, I'll give you 10 of those for the cost of one text message from Mercedes Monet.
Somebody just wrote a three paragraphs here in the Twitch chat about this. I'm not reading that.
It's actually anyway. Yeah. Was it slow
slow
news day on Fun Friday?
Maybe a lot of knowledge in there, but right now I'm not reading all that.
Christine Lubrano spent more than 4 years working as WWE's Senior Vice President of Creative Writing Operations, no longer with the company. She was fired on Thursday in a round of office cuts. They may have cut as many as a dozen people in the office. No wrestlers yet, but this is the season. 'Tis the season to be cut in WWE. And she and Bruce Pritchard oversaw the writing team, reported directly to Paul Levesque. She'd been one of the key creative people for 4 years, and now she is gone. So, yeah. We'll see who's next. I mean, we always knew, as far as, The Office, as soon as they merged with TKO, TKO even said,
redundancy cuts.
Yeah, there's going to be redundancy cuts.
Which happened in mass at the beginning.
Yes, but now, they got a lot of wrestlers. I just think it's going to happen. I just have this feeling. I have this precognitive thought in my mind that this might be happening, but we shall see. And then you want Fun Friday news? I got Fun Friday news for you.
Please.
Smackdown, only a handful of 3-hour episodes left.
Thank God.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord.
Dave Meltzer gave an update on the situation in the new issue of The Observer. The date for the switch, not set in stone, will be finalized soon. There has been talk that Smackdown goes back to 2 hours on June 6th. A month away.
Happy birthday, boss.
But it is not a hard date. It was expected at the end of May. So we shall see if it's the end of May, early June. Brother, I don't care. Just move it back.
Please.
This is out of control.
It's better for everybody, including everybody working on that show.
Yeah.
Not just the workers. Everybody working. The crew, everybody is going to be happy about this. They should be.
That reminds me, actually. Today we were going to review TNA Impact. Remember?
Yeah.
I built this up real big on Twitter yesterday. I was going to review Impact again. It's still TNA, brother. I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I refreshed, and I restarted the app, and I waited, and I waited. I'm like, where is the show? Why is the replay not on the T? And I spent all the money to get TNA Plus in preparation for this. No show. No show. No show. It's 2 a.m. Eastern. No show. It's 2:30 a.m. Eastern. No show. I'll give him 30 more minutes. It's now 3 a.m. Eastern. No replay. I was like, sorry.
Something really went sideways there because they sent out a text or a tweet yesterday saying, when the show started, we know we have had issues. We are going to try to get something up on video on demand right away. And obviously, from what you said, that has not happened yet. So.
Well, this was a replay. The live airing, I think, didn't work at all for 15, 20 minutes. They finally got that working. But then No replay. Just couldn't get it up. So I'll talk more about this after the break. Observer Live. You don't like the YouTube chat?
Who, me?
Guys,
Class acts, aren't they?
You don't have to go on the chat, everybody. You can just enjoy the show. They're in a mood today.
They are fired up.
I peeked in and then got the heck out of there and went to Twitch.
All the incels are out.
Twitch is all right because like you have to pay a little bit or use your Amazon Prime account, so it's a much better chat. And some people do pay to troll. Do you know that?
It's amazing to me. It's always amazing with people. It's the same people every day saying the same things, and it's like, you know, you're giving us money, right? You know, you're giving us clicks and all the things that, you know, you can say a lot of things about us, but like, you keep coming back. Like, that's how obsessed you are. That's how much you hate us, is the fact that I hate you so much, I must give you money. Good.
Yes.
I guess.
I'll take it. But anyway, I think the thing with the TNA show is that this was a live show, and I guess they had to, like...
They're not used to that.
Whatever, you know? I forget the term they used, because I actually emailed support, believe it or not.
Apparently they did, too. That's what they're still waiting to get something back for that.
What did they say? They said something like it was still rendering. What's the word they used? That was a word they used back when I was young. It was rendering.
The video was rendering?
It was processing.
Ah.
Which I understand, like when we upload shows to Apple Podcasts, for some reason it takes like a half hour to process.
Yeah, what is that
which
about?
I don't know why.
Really?
I mean, it doesn't do that for Spotify. But anyway, the point is, I think that since most of the shows are taped, I think most of them will be on the TNA Plus site fast enough that I'll be able to watch and review them. But these live shows, I can't promise anything. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is we'll start next week probably reviewing the TNA television show.
Look, the reviews might be hit and miss, but you know what? Sometimes so is TNA.
Also want to do a follow-up from yesterday. My main man, Brandon, a fine man, I might add, he went back and rewatched Fletcher versus Hangman. Because we talked about this. Like, I was talking about how Hangman dominated the match, which got everyone so defensive of AEW, not realizing that I also said I preferred the way they did it and I liked it, but they still had to attack me because
line item listeners.
I said what they thought was a criticism, even though it wasn't. But he did, because then people started arguing, including Dave, by the way. Well, I got a list of moves he did here. So Brandon went back and watched the match, and he says, yes, Fletcher had a headlock in the beginning of the match, and may have got a move in here or there, but most of the offense in the beginning and through the middle was by Hangman for sure. Because, in fact, Hangman dominated the entire match until they started going back and forth with near falls there at the end. Which, by the way, he dominated that as well, and he beat the guy. Which I liked, because it's a tournament, and he's going to the finals. And I like when, you know, there's a tournament, and like the two people in the finals are actually in storyline the best two guys. Not some goofy finish, or he barely made it or whatever. I mean, he ran through that guy like a knife through hot butter. And now it's Hangman Ospreay in the finals. And honestly, I don't want it to be like 90-10. But whoever wins that match, I want them to decisively win, because that person is the person going to the biggest AEW show of the year, All in Texas, and they will be fighting for the World Heavyweight title. So I don't want them to barely make it there. I don't want them to screw job make it there. I want them to win. I want you to know, as a viewer, they're the best, and they're going after Jon Moxley for that title.
Boy, would I like to see a title change. And
there
I
will
know
be.
There's a lot of people that really think that they're waiting on Darby Allin to come falling down the mountain and make himself, get himself back. But the reality is, Hangman Page, or Will Ospreay, for how over he is, but Hangman Page being an AEW original, he's the guy that in some ways could use it a lot more than Ospreay. And to me, it only makes sense that he would be the one that takes the title off of Moxley. Doesn't mean the story has to be over. Doesn't mean that he doesn't lose it back at some point to Moxley. But I believe he should be the one that throws the dagger in him first.
Oh, look at Rosendoza here trying to gotcha me. He says, a knife through hot butter?
Yeah. Butter can be warm.
Exactly.
And any knife can go through it.
Rosendoza, you warm up that butter. And you let me know how that knife goes through it.
And he's Rosendoza double ops.
It's going to go through that hot butter whoosh, like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could also use a hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. A knife goes through hot butter significantly more rapidly than a hot knife goes through cold butter.
It's true.
Thank you. All right, what else do we got? Brandon also said, I think because of Twitter, now everyone's business is out in the open, and maybe that's a problem. Well, yes, that's certainly a problem. See, nowadays people go, oh my God, everyone is so much dumber today than they were back in my day. But that's not true. Back in your day, everyone was stupid. But they didn't have a platform to go alert the world as to how stupid they were. The only way back then that you knew people were stupid was when they talked too much. You know, you had the friend that they never shut up. And because they never shut up and everything that came into their head they said, you were like, oh my God, this guy's an idiot. Whereas you had another friend who never said anything, and you were like, this man's wise. He was an idiot too. He just didn't talk. But now everyone's got Twitter, and every stupid thing that comes into your head, you've got to tweet out or put in the YouTube chat or whatever. We're all as stupid as we've always been. It's just now public.
There's way more outlets for everybody to show their ass and show them to you.
WWE just sent me this because I'm in tight with them.
You and Paul.
WWE returns to Australia this October with Crown Jewel Perth. Yes, Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel. This is not like, Down Under or some other different name. This is a Crown Jewel. This is the first ever Crown Jewel not in Saudi Arabia.
Uh-oh.
WWE in partnership with the Western Australian government. Is that really what it's called? Because they capitalize those three words. Western Australian government.
Makes sense, I guess.
Okay.
The WAGs.
Through Tourism Western Australia announced today, Crown Jewel Perth will headline a WWE weekend takeover in Perth. I should hope so. This October. Crown Jewel Perth will take place in Perth on Sunday, October 11, 2025.
Hey, where's that show at again?
It's in Perth. We laugh, but no one is going to go to Sydney for this show. They're all going to go to Perth because that's where it's at. The venue will host Friday Night Smackdown on Friday, October 10th, and Monday Night Raw on Monday, October 13th. So, to make it clear, I don't want anyone to get confused if you're down under. The Crown Jewel Perth show is in Perth. Friday Night Smackdown is on Friday, and Monday Night Raw is on Monday. Got it?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm on the East Coast, and they're in Australia.
Too bad this isn't for you.
I was going to say, wouldn't it be Sunday?
No, because WWE Events sent this to me. They're trying to sell tickets to go to the show live. They don't care about you or me. Now, this...
What are they giving the Saudis?
This
That's
day,
what I want to know.
October 11, just happens to be Rhea Ripley's birthday. What a stunning coincidence. So, I think her and old...
Buddy?
Now, what's that bloke's name? Grayson Waller.
Yes.
They're down there right now pushing tickets. Which is a good role for Grayson Waller.
Actually, somebody's got to take, the Miz is at some point is going into an emeritus PR role. Somebody has got to be there.
I think he's been there for years.
I said Waller might be that guy.
So anyway, that's coming to Perth. So there you go. This person here says, Brian, it's with it being Cinco de Mayo, will you do cameos with a sombrero? If I do 10 cameos, will you buy me a month of texting with Mercedes Mone in return? No, absolutely not. What are you talking about? You want that? You pay for it yourself. And no, I have no problem wearing a sombrero. Is that really a proper question to ask, by the way, in 2025?
I don't know.
But I don't have one. So, no, I will not wear one. If I had one, I would. I just did like an 8-minute cameo taking some guy on a tour of the office here, showed off the YWF Intercontinental title because he managed to, for some reason, he decided, you know what, I'm going to watch Bash at the Beach 95. And in the crowd, there I was with the Intercontinental title. He wanted to see it, and so I showed it to him. That was a fun cameo. I had a good time with that one for only $10. All right. What's so funny?
Nothing.
I got a lot to get into here today.
I know.
All right, we got the former ECW Arena in Philadelphia paying host to 7 AEW Ring of Honor events in August and September. Can you imagine, 20 years ago, being told there's going to be a residency at the ECW Arena? You'd be like, golly, get the bomb squad in there.
Really?
Wednesday, August 27th through Thursday, September 11th, there will be 3 Dynamites and 3 Collisions and a Death Before Dishonor, all at the ECW Arena. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. We got a little more to talk about, including Randy Orton on Smackdown tonight at Aleister Black versus The Miz. And I guess we don't have anything more to talk about because that's all they've announced. So, hey, the phone lines are open. 618-762-3275. That is 618-762-3275. You can also use the international web browser line. callinstudio.com/show/WOL. That is callinstudio.com/show/WOL. Whoa, or text us, 425-780-7566. Boom, 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 boom. 5 callers on the line. Holy smokes. Well, let's get going.
Only $2 for the first minute, 99 cents each additional minute.
That's right. You're on the air. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Michael from Rochester. Thank you for taking my call. And I want to talk about in my opinion, the most underrated person in the history of professional wrestling, much less WWE, and that's the great Jim Johnston. I actually just heard an interview that he did with Conrad Thompson, and he was talking about his career and how he made all of the music for WWE during the day all the way up until 2017. And I have a couple of questions. Number one, why did WWE get rid of him? And second, in your opinion, what do you think was the greatest theme song in WWE history? I personally go with Axe and Smash at Demolition. I always thought that their theme song was awesome. So I just want to know, why they get rid of him, because I think we would all agree that Death Rebel sucks. I don't think it's very good. So why did Jim Johnston get out of favor?
Brother, I can't answer that question for you. I have absolutely no idea. I mean,
think they went to CFO
They're idiots.
first.
Yeah, they had CFO first.
They look, when they make changes, sometimes they just go ahead and make changes. And when it comes to Demolition, that was a Rick Derringer produced song. So that's why, I mean, that's one of the reasons it's actually so good and actually hits so hard. When it comes to some of Johnston's, I love Mr. Perfect's. I think Gold Dust is a fantastic theme. I thought The Brood, for what it was an amazing theme. You know, for the entrance that they had, I think it fit perfectly. So you throw those three in there, along with The Undertaker and Stone Cold. I mean, those are iconic as well, too.
Well, you got to remember also that he did themes for like decades. And it's the same guy making all the songs. And, like, I thought he was incredible, but... You know, it might have been that in 2017, Vince was just like, these songs just sounds like the 80s, the 90s. Like,
and look,
we need something new and modern, and someone might have gotten his ear, and it wasn't for the best, but it's what they did.
I wish he could have collaborated with some people coming in, because that is true. I mean, with the sounds changing, with hip-hop sounds changing and all that sort of stuff, it was nice to have some different people in the mix, but I wish he could have sat on top of a creative team, and him staying there, and absolutely somebody who belongs in the WWE Hall of Fame and is an arguable, there are plenty of people I think who would belong in first in the non-wrestler category, but he is somebody that certainly added to the aesthetic of a show. And it's drivers come out, football players come out, basketball players come out, and they have themes, and a lot of that is due to professional wrestling.
Okay, quiet down. I got to talk to Munashi here.
Do it.
Oh, you'll see. You're on the air. What's going on?
Hi, Bryan and Mike. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing quite well.
That's great to hear. So I've got a little fun question for today. Hi, Mike.
It is Fun Friday.
So my question is, I'm sure you've seen I've just seen on the internet, I'm sure you've seen the question about who would win between one gorilla and 100 men.
Yes.
But I'm going to flip the question a little bit and ask you guys, who would win in a fight between one hippo and 100 men? No weapons, no gimmicks, no nothing, just bare hands.
One hippo?
Here's the deal. Okay? Let's go back to the gorilla question.
Yes, one hippo.
We'll go back to gorilla. One gorilla and 100 men? That's the question, the original?
Yes.
Well, 100 men are taking out...
That's the original one.
They're taking out one gorilla, okay?
I believe that, yes.
Yes, because here's the thing. Like, you ever seen, like, some guy that's all, he's on drugs and he's going nuts and, like, he feels no pain and...
Angel dust, baby.
Yeah, you can get enough cops to take that guy down. And granted, a gorilla is much larger, but we're talking 100 men they can get a hold of and take down a gorilla. Now, a hippo?
I don't know about that.
No chance. 100 men are not taking down a hippo.
Just your hands,
Brother, that hippo is going to... You know what that hippo's going to be? Like a knife through hot butter.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
It's going to beat him and beat him and beat him and beat him.
Yes. What do you think, Munashi? What happens in both cases?
I think the hippo wins and the men win with the gorillas, because as much as a gorilla is very strong and powerful, like you said, it's 100 guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be something like we see in pro wrestling where it's 100 Bobby Lashley's, just average Joes where they can be hopped up on drugs or just general run-of-the-mill guys, and they can still take on that gorilla, because with humans, we're the apex predators, and we'll definitely strategize on how to take down the gorilla. But a hippo is entirely different, because, I mean, for crying out loud, a hippo, it kills more people than an elephant or a gorilla in the first place. So it's much harder to take down, and it's deceptively strong. People think that it's just a very happy animal like a dolphin, when in reality they're jerks, to be quite PG about it, since we're on radio. I do think that the hippo would win.
Well, I want to thank you so much for the call, all the way from Zimbabwe, on the international web browser line. We have a zoo here and they have hippos. Dude.
Man.
I'm telling you, don't mess with these hippos.
Hippos, rhinos, elephants, you're not taking them down with your hands. You're just not doing it.
No. Let's go to the phones. You are on the air. Who is this and where are you calling from?
Hey, y'all. It's Brandon here from Portsmouth. Happy
Yes.
Fun Friday to you all.
Thanks for watching that match again.
So, No, absolutely. I'm glad I can help contribute to the controversy. Had no idea it would turn into that. My question is this. Last night on the show, you were mentioning, or the name came up, Jasper Troy, and a very ridiculous sounding name as it is. But I thought, I feel like we see these NXT names at first. They feel weird, they feel whatever, but then we kind of acquiesce to them. I mean, do you feel like maybe that could be the same with old Jasper there? If they, maybe he's a good worker, maybe he can cut a promo. Or
you mean if I hear Jasper
we'll
Troy enough, it won't sound weird?
Yeah, you just get used to it after a while.
Brandon,
Braun Breaker felt weird after a while.
Brandon, Katana Chance. Does that sound normal yet? No, it doesn't. It's preposterous. It still sounds ridiculous. Braun Breaker still sounds goofy. You're kind of used to it, but if you think about it, it's still goofy. Guy should be Rex Steiner. That was a perfect name.
It really was.
Be better, yeah.
Especially now that they acknowledge the Steiners and they bark and they do all that. But he's Braun Breaker. Wasn't that the heel in Sleepy Hollow? God. Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker.
It's like Braun Strowman. No one can say Braun Strowman and make it sound normal. It's ridiculous. Thank you very much for the call. He disconnected
I
himself.
still believe that they just wanted to do it because they had Braun and Mello, on the same brand for a while. I have no idea. Braun Breaker, that's still a weird one.
Hey, that's another one. Everyone talks about how it's all the same even though Vince is gone. No, we have multiple Brauns. Vince would never allow more than one Braun.
He didn't want more than one Lance. Remember
yeah,
that?
you
they
couldn't have
Garrison Cade.
Yeah, it'd be Garrison Cade because there was already a Lance Storm. You couldn't have two Lances. And you got Tiffany doing the PME, followed by Jacob Fatu, who always follows her, by the way. He's always in the next segment, who also does a PME. Same move. They have to pretend it's got a different name. Come on. He's doing the prettiest moonsault ever. What are we talking about here?
I want Tessitore now to call it like that.
Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's going on? Who is this and where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian and Mike. This is Sean from San Diego. Happy Fun Friday. I have one question, 5 words. What is Kyle Fletcher doing?
I know exactly where this came from. This was Dave. Asked this question on Observer Radio when he saw his muscular physique.
What, cutting?
Well, you see what he's doing is eggs, cheese, protein shakes and whole milk, a lot of ribeyes.
I don't know about the ribeyes.
What are you talking about?
No, maybe.
Yeah, of course the ribeyes.
Look, as much as he's cutting, I don't know.
He's not cutting. He's getting bigger.
Well, look, he was a little more swole. He seems like he's almost cutting. Like those folks in CMLL, they get ready for the bodybuilding contest.
Yes.
It seems like he wants to be shredded. You know what I'm saying?
You can get shredded on ribeyes.
Well,
yes, you absolutely can. You got to cut the carbs.
Chicken breast.
He ain't.
Baby. Come on.
No, not nowadays. That's old school. That's back in the 80s. Nowadays, high fat, high protein, low carbs. That's the way it works nowadays. So, yes, that's what he's doing. He's a young man, lift some heavy weights. I'm sure a lot of compound movements. All right, let's go to the phones. Who is this and where are you calling from? Oh, sometimes you got to push the button before they go on the show. Who is this and where are you calling from? What's up?
Hey, it's Philip Sandman from Simi Valley.
Yes, Philip, what's going on?
So I have another question for you. What was an angle or a match where you got an unexpected outcome that you weren't expecting, but it actually made the match or the angle better? For me, mine would have been with MJF tried to infiltrate the inner circle. Jericho found out, and then they were going to turn on MJF, but then MJF said, well, I knew you were going to do that, and I, just in case, made my own faction and the Butte of the Pinnacle. That was, my favorite moment of Dynamite, and I thought it was, something I didn't expect, and I thought it made everything great.
All right. I want to thank you very much for the call. By the way, I did remember, he was asking a question about what you thought was going to be terrible but ended up being good. I remembered one of the matches, at least, which is when they announced Nia Jax versus Naomi. And I was like, oh my God. And they did the match, and it was freaking flat out great. They had a great match. And so, I've been trying to think here and there about other examples where I just thought, man, this one ain't got no hope. And when it was over, like, it was not only not bad, but it was, like, actually great. I think they actually had two of those, Nia and Naomi. Like, there's certain people that just, like, they work great together, not necessarily with anybody else, but you put them together and it's great, and that was one of them. So, a match where I wasn't expecting the outcome, but it ended up being great.
Well, I mean, I don't know about like the win and loss, but Austin Hart at the double turn at Mania. I mean, you could say, okay, I thought Austin was going to win, or I thought Bret Hart was going to win, but how they went about, working that match and going to a double turn, I didn't see that coming. Even though obviously a lot of people were cheering Austin.
Yeah, that one worked out for the best. I feel like this has happened somewhat regularly in AEW, but I'm drawing a blank. Help me out, chat. What am I missing here? Oh, everyone's talking about the Rhino.
Still on. They're really breaking this thing down to the.
They really are. My
here.
God,
Holy Moses!
I should do an After Dark on this. I'm going to try and think more, Philip. Okay, but I want to address some of this after the break as well. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Okay, can everyone hear it?
Yeah.
There is a mystery bell at Granny's house. She can't hear it. Take off your headphones for a second.
I had them on wrong anyway.
Okay.
I can't get them on right. What?
Right. Take them off and listen.
You have in your elbow? Is the fan on your computer?
Nothing.
All right. Well, this is going to be an exciting show.
Gonna have bells ringing through the whole thing, and it's every week. It's got to be me.
Do you have a neighbor that's an ice cream man
No,
practicing out there?
I got a neighbor that smokes marijuana.
I'm sure you do. I guess
Whatever that noise is, I mean, it's still going.
Yeah, it's not gonna stop, dude.
Brian, do you want me to get off here and go see if open the door and see if there's anything out there?
You think something's out the front door?
Is he ringing the bell the entire time?
Yeah. No, Granny, you don't.
Let me in. Let me in.
It's fine. It's fine.
If it's death, don't open the door.
Thank you, Craig. This person thinks it's a stove timer.
Have you burned the roast?
No, I don't have a stove. You want me to just get off here?
No. We're going to barrel through it.
I'd love it.
You're not even doing anything. Granny, Nick says that you've got an old-fashioned analog alarm clock in Terry's bedroom.
I don't know. I got a new alarm clock, battery operated. Is that what she meant?
Well, whatever it is, it's going haywire right now.
Oh, it might be my alarm.
You think?
But it's way back in the bedroom.
Don't worry about it right now. But when the show's over, you might want to go...
That's what it is.
Okay.
Solve the mystery.
Is there a reason you didn't turn it off when it started ringing?
Well, I wasn't in there. I didn't.
Duh.
I took a nap. I took a nap and set the alarm. I thought I shut it off, but I probably didn't.
No.
You probably didn't.
That's life.
I would say with a good deal of certainty that you didn't turn it off.
Brian, that's life around here.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I do the show with Dave, too.
Say,
Hear all sorts of things in the background.
did I do that? You know,
Yeah, you did do that.
or I thought I did that, but I didn't.
In there.
I wake up and I see lights on, and I say, I didn't turn those lights on. What's going on?
Maybe the place is haunted.
Could be.
Okay.
It's my brain that's haunted.
Well, I hope not. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Bunch of athletic. Oh, sorry. So anyway, the debate here. I think everyone agrees that this rhino. Is it a rhino?
Rhino.
Yeah, there ain't 100 men taking down this rhino. Not happening.
Mm-mm.
But with an ape, which is, I mean, everyone's like
hippo. The rhino's got the horn. That's even worse.
Yeah, that's
He'll
even
be
worse.
Stacking people. Yeah.
Get 1,000 men, they ain't taking out that rhino.
Mm.
But the ape. Listen, guys. I mean, have we never watched MMA? Here's the problem. I don't care how strong the ape is. Okay, I don't care. The fact of the matter is, the ape is large, 600 to 800 pounds. Okay, we're talking, depending on the size of the 100 men. This ape is going to be battling between 18 and 22,000 pounds of weight. Okay, this isn't a cartoon where the ape has unlimited energy. All right, that ape's going to get tired fast,
Especially
trying to throw
barrels.
around 22,000 pounds of humanity, which isn't just, some unmoving. It's like people grabbing an arm, leg, limb, neck, hog pile on top. That ape is not taking out 100 men.
Now, some men are going to have to be sacrificed. That is for sure, especially that
there's going to be some people who ain't going to make it.
Yeah.
But,
you do it for the greater good.
I don't know about the greater good, but like they agreed to take on an ape. You got to know you're going to have some casualties.
Well.
But 100 men, one ape, that's it. All right? 100 men, one hippo? No. You're all getting done run over.
100 chimpanzees in one rhino.
I'd have to think about that one. Hey, listen, we're out of time, everybody. I want to thank you all for listening. Mike, as always, callers and listeners up to the studio. See you later on this weekend, Wrestling Observer Live.